There we go. Yes, hello. And welcome once again back to Club Prairie Fire, the home of tequila, Tabasco, and the mighty Duckworth Lewis system, who, had a bit of a win during the week. I am the Professor, and welcome to Season 6, Episode 1, because we're back on Zencaster. We were in the studio. Now we're back. I'm not sure if it was something I said. Maybe I came on too strong. I have been known to do that, so I apologise.
Yeah, can you shower next time?
Is that what it was?
When we all catch up, I'd like you showered, please.
It was the stench. Lots to talk about in today's show. West Indies take on England, have taken on England. South Africa versus India. The Big Bash is in full swing. And, of course, we look ahead to the first test between Australia and Pakistan. Yes, that's right. We are on the eve of the West Test as we record this, which is taking place in Western Australia, Perth, the most remote capital city in the world, and it is a place that is traditionally a feeding ground for temperamental quicks and has a consistent wind named after a medical practitioner, dentist, or veterinarian. Now, you would not believe it, but one of our cricketing gurus calls it home, and he joins us now. Adam Gilchrist, Perth, how are you?
Yes, I'm excellent. Thanks, Prof. Couldn't be better. Ollie, Vaughany, nice to see you. Nice to see you all. It was much better when we were catching up in person, but maybe next week we might organise that a little bit better. But sunny Perth. The West Test awaits, and the onus is on the people of Western Australia to turn up. Because, Jesus, we've kicked and screamed for a couple of years now about all sorts of reasons, not having the right teams, sacking our beloved son JL, but we got to front up now, so I reckon we will.
Well, one man that will attract the crowds is former English skipper Michael Vaughan, and he's just come on, Vaughany, you're shrugging your shoulders there. You'll bring the crowds out, and you've just arrived in Perth. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, good to see you all, guys. Arrived in Perth. Gilly, what's going on with your baggage consoles? It takes forever in Perth. What's all that about?
Yeah, we're 3 hours behind everything over here, so everything takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's my first ground. The nice thing, I've got a lovely room here in Perth overlooking the ground that the Test match should be playing at, the Waugh.
Why is that? Why don't you want it at Perth Stadium?
Oh, come on, the Waugh is a proper cricket venue. The Perth Stadium's an AFL ground. We're playing a Test match at the AFL ground, so make of that whatever you want, Gil.
Actually, on that, that's an interesting take. How did you? I'm trying to remember. Actually, I was just before we clicked on, Warnie, and how did you go? You scored a mountain of runs in 2002-03, the Ashes summer. How'd you go at Perth?
Vaughany, don't answer this. It's a trick because it's coming in trivia later. Do not give Gilly any answers.
Very good, Gilly. Did you know?
Clever, I did not know that, but geez,
all I can say, Gilly, is that we lost.
in 3 days.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And we were on we went down, is it Cottesloe Beach?
Yeah.
And there's what's the restaurant there on the beach? There's a nice restaurant upstairs.
The India tea rooms were on the beach before, yeah.
Yeah, the tea rooms. And we went in there at lunchtime, and bear in mind we'd lost the Test match, and there's quite a few English supporters around watching us, admiring us as cricketers. I don't know if they were admiring us at 7:30 when we were kicked out.
Was that like on day 4 when you were meant to be still out playing?
Day 4, we were kicked out of the tea rooms, having been in there at 12. There was a good crowd. I know Craig White, he was in the crowd. I don't want to dob White in, but I know White, he was in that crowd. And then we arrived back into, I think we were staying at, not the Hyatt here in Perth. There's another hotel up on the hill and on the corner. There's an Irish bar opposite, which we ended up back in there, having come into the hotel. And we just seemed to arrive back at the hotel as all the tourists were going out for dinner.
remember being a bowl like the wind.
Yeah.
Cleaned up.
Yeah.
Alex Tudor.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Nasty.
I was yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll tell you another story about that. The second innings we were following on.
Yeah.
And I strolled out to open the batting with Marcus Trescothic.
Yeah.
And as we strolled out, but Tres didn't like facing McGrath. He didn't like McGrath or Gillespie. He's like, oh, that combination did from. As we walked through the tunnel, and it's bright, and there was only about, I think there was about 9 overs left in the day, and that doctor had come in, so the doctor hits you, the wind's hitting you, think, oh God. And as we walk onto the pitch, we get an ovation from the Barmy Army. We always get an ovation. And Trez looks at me and goes, oh, look at this. This is gold. I said, what do you mean? He went, no, McGrath. Brett Lee's taking the new cherry. I went, fucking what? He went, oh, I prefer Binga Lee than Glenn McGrath. You just go and look at that first over.
Oh.
I think the first ball flew past Trez's nose. And I strolled down and went, are you still all right with this? He went, yeah. I think his fifth ball, I think the off stump flew out the ground and went over your head. And then, and I always remember it, because usually as a night watch, your night watcher comes in with 5 overs to go, or 20 minutes, something like that. And I always remember thinking, oh, Jesus, we're going to lose a few tonight. And as I looked to my right, I saw who was coming out to bat. And I thought, oh, that's not NASA. Who's that? It was Richard Dawson with his glasses on.
Oh, it was absolute carnage. And then big AT got cleaned up. So after about 15 minutes of picking him up and trying to spray down the blood in and around the crease line, you look at the bottom of that scorecard. I vividly remember it said, because we only took 7 wickets. Took 7 bowling wickets, because I reckon we ran you out. I reckon you ran yourself out when Binga was bowling so quick. But it said Alex Judah retired hurt, Chris Silverwood absent hurt. I reckon he just didn't turn up. He saw Binga bowling that quick. He had his feelings hurt.
No, Chris Silverwood was clever. He was down in the tea rooms early.
Getting the booking.
Yeah.
Also, just looking at that scorecard, that is completely right. Retired her, absent her. Vaughany, I'm not going to give your score away, but yours is run out Lee, Gilchrist, and McGrath. In that
how does that work?
How's that working?
Yeah, I think if you go back to the first inning, I think I might have run out Mark Butcher.
Yeah.
And I think in the second innings, he got me back.
Yeah. I think it was one of those ones where there's almost 2 batters at one end, and one of them's trying to cross to make sure that he's the one out. Or anyway.
Oh,
but how do you have 3 names? So
Lee,
are they?
Lee
threw it to me. I collected it and then threw it down to Pigeon over the stumps at the bowler's end.
Oh, so all 3 people get named then. That's nice.
Yeah, you get your 10 Player of the Year points.
Yeah. I think we're in one of those situations, me and Butch down the non-strikers and arguing who actually wanted to be out.
Oh,
I'll go.
I'm out.
I'm off.
Very, very good. Now, Ollie, you've jumped in early before you've had an introduction. So minus 10 points for you.
Sorry.
Welcome. And as I understand it, was there a secret Englishman's dinner this week? Maybe down in, the home of most Englishmen, the eastern suburbs of Sydney.
And a rebel tour.
Did the 2 of you get together?
We did. We can't talk about what was discussed, but what I did learn is Skip is the king of Coogee. Like, you couldn't walk anywhere without paparazzi, Sharpies, and there's mainly Irish people there. But we had a lovely pizza down in the Pav there, and I just held the Sharpie and everything for the fans and took all the pictures. It was beautiful.
How did you get on with that? How did you get on with that Raya little?
Well, this is what I was going to say. Was this whole thing a ruse, Vaughany, so that you could have a go on Raya like Gilly and I did?
I'll be honest. I didn't bring it up, but Ollie did, and I forgot. And then he brought it out, and I went, "Oh, this is quite interesting. This is quite a good little game to play." And you did get a little, what's it called, a connection or a like, or
yeah, very good connection. We got one. We got one live as we had a little look. So
you looked
haven't spoken to it yet, but it's very exciting all around. But it was there weren't many in Coogee, but it was very fun. We had a lovely meal and just spoke about how good England is and how much we miss it.
Yeah, that's what English people do here.
That's what they do.
Yeah. While they're sitting on the beach.
Let them in with the humans, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. Now, traditionally, Ollie, you like to kick us off with a bit of a social media update. Why don't you sell where people can find us? Let us know how the pod's going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the pod is only going upwards at Club Prairie Fire. That's where you can find us on the socials. And there have been some great comments on the back of the launch of season 5 and Buff. Kyriakos said, "I'll be waiting for season 5." So they also said, "What a great season 4 it was the week before." So they're all over the seasons.
And I think that's available on DVD now. You can buy season 4.
Yeah.
We're selling it.
That's absolutely right. One person really was defending the socials. They jumped on Insta to say opening in England conditions is a tough challenge, and any strike rate above 50 isn't that bad.
Oh,
that was from Sting Raoul. So they give a little nod to Vaughany when Gilly was laying into him.
So who'd say that was from G. Vaughan?
Another one of the, and that actually got 3 likes as well. So people defended him as well. And we had 2 more that stood out. Bass Phil 72 said, watching the BBL game between the Scorchers and Renegades, there are some great moustaches on display. I think it's fair to say your tequila ambassador list has just increased dramatically.
Yep.
So interesting one there. And finally, Oz Blade. Now I picked this one out because this is an Englishman who is a Yorkshire flag and then Sheffield United, who are the arch rivals of Vaughany's Wednesday. But he does say, the stories these blokes could tell without the camera on, I could listen for hours. So stay tuned for that edition coming maybe in the future. But yeah, the socials loving it.
Yeah, that indeed. I mean, good point that the follower there made about the Big Bash being on the game, the Renegades, Scorchers. I mean, we've sort of half discussed it, haven't we, all a little bit offline, but what a missed opportunity to join greatness.
Correct.
What? I mean,
correct.
Joshy Inglis, is he not born in Yorkshire?
Yeah.
Yes, he's from Leeds.
Oh, well, I mean, seriously. I know
imagine?
it wasn't a Tuesday.
Correct.
But I believe that the panel have said they would have verified it and given it the blue tick as an innings of greatness.
Yeah. Well, any pitch that if you walk down it and you can slip on it, it is deemed a kind of Yorkshire Tuesday night pitch. And that was a wet wicket. Uncovered pitches. I thought it was a massive opportunity by the players missed to send the message to everyone that plays the game. Doesn't matter what the pitch is. Even if the ball's rearing up and flying over your nostrils, you just got to dig in. Got to dig in. Got to dig in. This is the new style of T20 cricket. You get hit and you dig in from one end, and at the other end, you just launch.
I did have a chuckle where of the 6.5 overs that were bowled, Vaughan, I think twice managed to get Tuesday night on a sticky dog in the Fox Cricket commentary. I had to sit back and just mute my microphone. But that's a real shame.
Well,
that.
Great.
I was thinking,
Gilly, can you imagine? So kids now that are watching the game, you know, the pros, as soon as it does a little bit or it bounces a little bit of uneven, you know, the game gets cut. So this test match in Perth, Perth Stadium, on day 3, right, there's a few cracks, it's hot, and a ball lands on a length and it flies up at a batter and it hits him in the chest. Is that the test match off? Do we just call it off now?
Well, if you've got a booking on day 4 down at your restaurant, you'll be laughing then.
The Indiana rooms are still there, so
yeah.
We can only hope, Vaughan.
Yeah. Is it still going, that place, Gilly, yeah?
It is under a different name.
You're still banned, Vaughany, though. Just have a little
look.
Yeah.
I reckon, and Ollie, this will put you to work. The debut test at Perth Stadium, the inaugural test, Australia v India 2018. That pitch was deemed the Green Monster. It was vicious, and I reckon it statistically was the game with which batters were hit most on the body, either on the gloves or on the body. And I reckon a lowish scoring affair, maybe high 200s each innings. But Virat Kohli scored one of the great, and I know he's not a great, but it was one of the great test match innings.
I'll need to study. I'll study.
Sorry, mate.
I'll study that innings because if it is, what's it called, the Green Monster, the pitch, it might put Virat in the category.
I think it could because of purely this stat that it might take some digging to find.
Just having a look here. I presume
140 and no one else got 30, I reckon.
If you Google Green Monster, I think it comes up.
Yeah, it does. I was just checking. I'm not sure if it's greatness because He obviously did get, yes, you are right, 123. Vaughany with 51. But the second innings, he couldn't do it again, 17. And they lost comfortably.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he can quite qualify.
Okay.
But yeah, otherwise, you have nailed that. Green Monster, Optus 2018. That was exactly right. But a big win for Australia in the end. They posted 326 and 243 with India 283.
Gilly, do you think that's going to happen now going forward? As soon as the ball seams and swings and bounces, that's it? We just go home, or
No.
think they'll carry on?
No, I think there's still a few youngsters out there that aspire to greatness.
Yeah.
So, and Inglis will be better for the run.
Do you think that some of these cricketers were watching our podcast last week when you brought up that Darren Lehman used to get creative with the covers? If there was a day, because it happened down in Canberra as well at the Prime Minister's 11.
Whoa, there's an accusation.
That's 2 in 1 week.
Whoa.
I think the cricketers are watching us, and when they don't want to play, they're heading out and taking the covers down.
I tell you what, you are correct with there. The assumption that the current day cricketer is listening to Club Prairie Fire. Whether they took away, if the takeaway was about the covers, I'm not sure, but they certainly enjoyed Buffer's estimation on how many centuries he scored, having had a rather large night the night before. They did get a giggle out of that when I was interviewing them at various times in the Big Bash coverage, which, I think we all doffed our cap to that one.
Absolutely. Go back and
caps are looking good, boys. I've got mine sitting on my
nice
my Don Julio bottle there at the moment. Because I think the light casts too much of a shadow, with my ears casting a shadow as well. But yeah.
Have you got any left, Gilly?
I must admit, Gil, I've enjoyed the first week of the Big Bash, but I always enjoy. I did the game last night with Mark Waugh and Liam Hatcher. I think he bowled nicely. He got out, and Junior changed his name to Maggie Thatcher.
Well, it's better than what he calls Fucker Zaman or Brendan McCullum.
Well, we nearly got BJ Brendan Julian on the Worrell.
Yeah. So Junior's just got a bit tongue tied, or
the wanky Worrell trophy.
Oh yeah.
Very, very good. Hey, now, boys, there's lots of cricket happening, and we do need to bring up England and the West Indies.
Oh, yeah.
Because, yes, West Indies won the third and final ODI after it was reduced by the rain. Go the Duckworth-Lewis system. And then they went on to win the first of the T20s thanks to some Dre Russ magic with the bat. Vaughany, what is happening over there? I know there was some worry about them not having decent golf courses to play at. Have you spoken to any of the boys?
They can't use that as an excuse. I've seen the lads on social. They've been playing the Green Monkey in Barbados, which undoubtedly is one of the great golf courses. It's very private. You're very lucky to be able to play that course. And I would guess when they were on it, they would have been the only people on that course. So I can't give them any excuses for their performances in Barbados. In Antigua, I don't think the golf courses are good enough for the England team there. But Barbados, they have everything. They have the rum. They have the golf. They have the beaches. And they have the support. The England supporters are there with them. The West Indies, Dre Russ, Don the captain, the Dre Russ. He's knocked them out of the park. They just don't seem to be able to get that winning kind of momentum, England, at the minute. They're just going through one of those periods. But it's early. It's only a few months away from the T20 World Cup. They'll still win that.
Yeah, it takes developing nations a fair bit of time to get that ingrained in their psyche, the winning feeling, no doubt. I reckon Barbados, I reckon you might want to have a word to your good mate. I think the bloke that Warnie used to refer to as your caddy, Vaughany, Paul Collingwood.
Yeah.
He's a terrific coach, I know, but maybe just have a bit more of a barometer on how the team's going when on your social media all you put on is pictures of Sandy Lane sitting on the beach, walking into the Lone Star Cafe down there which, mate, you reckon the Indiana Tea Rooms is good. Anyone that's been to the Lone Star on the west coast of Barbados, typically you don't come out for a couple of days. So I reckon Collie could just tone it down a fraction, maybe a bit of vision in the nets, him wanging balls or something. What do you reckon?
So Collingwood is out there, is he?
Well, Well, hang on. I'm just assuming he's there with the team. He may well be on holidays, and good luck to him if he is.
I wouldn't rule out that he's there on holiday. I don't think he works with the white ball team.
He's only ever worked with the white ball team, hasn't he?
No, I think he's the test assistant. I don't
Ollie,
think
Ollie, this is perfect for you. I'll jump on. Is Paul Collingwood on holidays?
I think
or is he working?
I would say that he's on holiday. I mean,
Wow.
I don't think he's with the white ball team.
I reckon I'd be lynched if I took my family on holiday to wear the Australian team.
No, but this is probably where you differ. Paul won't be with his family. He'll be on
actually, I think actually I sort of a bit pot calling the kettle black there. I did take the family to London and slip up to Leeds to watch one day of Test cricket in our holiday over in Europe. But no, look, I apologise to.
I'm going to have a look at it.
Ollie, if he's no longer with the team, and good on him. It was all tongue in cheek. Good on him being at Sandy Lane and in the Lone Star. Why wouldn't you be?
What do you got for us, Ollie? Is he on
he's
Kentucky?
Not with the team. He's not with the team because I know where the team is staying, and he's having he's running morning running partners. One thing for sure, he's not gone for a run, but there's a load of crabs. And he's down on Sandy Lane.
Have you got a tracker on him?
No, I'm just. He seems to be like. I've got his Instagram stories. He seems to be like Instagram storying crabs and birds. The flying type, may I say?
He's unreal.
And he's down. Oh yeah, there you go in the Lone Star. He's on his holidays. He's not working.
That's tremendous. Well, I owe Collie a big drink. I actually.
That is maybe
that's hilarious.
He might get a gate. Do you think he's?
Well, that's right. Maybe you should get over there and start wanging balls to him.
Yeah. Well, Big Freddie's there. Freddie Flintop. He's with the team. He's wanging a few balls, which is good to see.
He's got a good track record in the Caribbean.
Well, yeah. I don't want to say too much. I remember the incident in the World Cup when suddenly, we ended up in Barbados. The manager, I think I've said this story on the pod before, but we get a week in Barbados. And I always remember Lee Westwood, the golfer, was there. And to get into Sandy Lane, you have to wear trousers. And we'd been on an all-dayer in our shorts. Lee invites us back to Sandy Lane. Obviously, we don't have any trousers. So he said, "Oh, don't worry, lads. I'll bring you a few down." we all went into Sandy Lane's bar with the checkered golf stripe.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking out of shot, but Lee was a bit bigger back then.
Yeah.
And the trousers were rather large on us all.
Excellent.
That's very good.
Barbados.
So, what are they going to do, Vaughany? How do they fix it?
I lost a mini moat there once in Barbados. You know those little cars, those Jeeps.
How did you lose it?
I came out of what's that nightclub called?
Harbour Lights.
Harbour Lights, yeah. And I parked. I couldn't find it. I didn't know what it was.
Ooh.
Yeah.
For our English listeners, Vaughany, ex-skipper, just sum it up real quick. How would you fix the problem there?
I'll go harder. A bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
I think they're being safe with the bat. The game starts. I mean, they got off to a decent start, but that middle order just going through one of those kind of periods where they're probably doubting themselves, maybe just looking after their own positions. They've just got to go harder. They're a good team. They'll come back.
Either that or rip the covers off. Juice it up.
Yeah.
Now, Duckworth Lewiston, they also had a win at South Africa, getting them over the line versus India in the second T20. Obviously, the first one was washed out as well, bit of wet weather down there at the moment. I'm almost certain that both of you boys, Vaughany, you picked that South Africa would win the white ball stuff very easily from memory.
Well,
Gilly, I'm not sure what you picked.
South Africa.
What was the score? Yeah. South Africa won, yeah.
They did.
Well, there's one to play a washout, and they won one game too, and there's one tomorrow night, I think.
It's too much cricket on.
The Indian team's still a shadow of its mainstream. Looking down the list of names, there isn't it? Still, the big dogs aren't.
Tell you what I like, Gil. I tell you, I like, and we'll follow him a bit on this. He's going to be a superstar. Rinku.
Yeah, Rinku
Singh. What a player he is.
Mm.
And he wears the. I think he wears the headband underneath the helmet. With the little bit flying at the back. So that's good look. I like
the Ramnath Shah one. Yeah,
I like Mitchell Swetton with his band. I like Mitchell Swetton's headband. I'm enjoying the headbands.
Absolutely. I think they could get it a little bit thinner, more Italian football striker.
Yes.
Yeah, the shoelace.
Yeah, like the band. Yeah. Yes.
I
think Zach went through that one for a while. Yeah.
Batistuta for Argentina.
Yes. Yeah.
Did
you
Smith for Australia? Oh no, it doesn't have the same rim to it, does it?
No. What did you used to think when Broady used to wear the headband? Were you pro Broady headband stage or not?
If you just look at Stuart Broad's average with the headband, I think he's averaging something ridiculous like 19 or 20. You start to question, why hasn't he worn that headband all his career? I think he brought it. I think he brought it in COVID. I think there was a reason why he had it on.
I reckon I've heard him say that.
Yeah, I think there was a COVID reason, and he obviously. I think it was at the Ageas Bowl. He bowled in it, and he got a few wickets, and it's just. I think he sleeps in it now. I mean, he's on every single TV show going, but I haven't seen him with his headband on.
I remember he said he was going to wear the headband in all the Void Test series he played. And so that was why I brought it in during COVID.
Yeah. Remember that? Now that you mentioned that Ageas Bowl and that COVID period, remember when he got left out of the game?
Yeah.
And he sat down, and the press conferences were like Big Brother. You'd get someone into a room and sat down in a big chair and have to talk just to a camera. Yeah. And he just ripped in. He lost his marbles.
Yeah, I have to tell you that we had one of the funniest, best weeks ever. So we arrived at the Ageas Bowl locked in. You had to get tested. In you go. It's like arriving at prison, but you arrive with a little bit of substance, don't you, to keep you going. And
like the Australian team did into our before the final.
I was rooming. You had obviously single rooms. I was rooming next to the Cat Tufnell. Well. Every night, and obviously the players are above us. So the hotel, the players are in there, all the media, all the logistical side of the ECB. Well, as soon as the game finished, you're on it. You just sit in your balcony, and then the guitar comes out. Jonathan Agnew with his banjo. I remember about 1:30 a.m. So, will you fuckers please be quiet? It was the players.
That
was there. And
then we went through COVID.
You did your commentary half an hour, and then you just went to lie in your bed. You watched.
Could you intermingle? So could you hang out with the Cat?
Or was it
on balconies?
We did that week. The following week, we went to Old Trafford, and we were on it was like Hawk Watch. They'd found us out. They had binoculars on us, and there was also. I reckon we had a legal case against them actually because they were looking into our rooms with binoculars. I mean, slightly concerning, but at Old Trafford it was a little bit stricter. Yeah, but the Ageas Bowl the first week, what a laugh.
I think a few players, maybe Jofra, broke protocol, as they said, didn't he, in between those tests? So they went on to high alert.
That's right, yeah. I think he went to see his dog, didn't he? Or
something like that, yeah.
What about Jofra this week?
Yeah. Who's he rolled out for?
I mean, it's unbelievable. The ECB, England, and Rob Key is director of cricket. He goes into the press conference, and one of the journalists said, so what do you make of Jofra Archer playing for his local team in Bar? Didn't even know. This is the guy that they've pulled out of the IPL because they're concerned about his fitness for the World Cup. Jofra in his backyard in Barbados starts to come off his long run in a league match.
Now, Vaughany, correct me if I'm wrong. Ollie, can you see what sort of figures Jofra got, if you can find it? But Vaughany, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there a thing that you did just in a local comp where they put makeup on you?
Yeah.
And you went undercover?
Yeah, I was called Gary. Right. Someone, Nat West, it was the team I went to play for. Ollie, you'll have to Google it. I can't remember what they were called, but they'd been beaten. It'd been the heaviest defeat ever. I think they'd been bowled out for naught or something. So they'd thrown me in there as this Gary guy. And it was a full makeover. I was a big belly, big beard, right with my cap on. And I strolled onto the pitch from like the angle. So I didn't come into the dressing rooms. I didn't go into the pavilion. Kind of strolled on to the pitch, joined in the game. It was a 20-over game. I think it was a Tuesday night, actually. I think it was in Yorkshire. I actually do think that. And strolling, and I know Gilly knows how bad I am at catching. And the first thing that I'm at long on, the first ball I'm out there, catch. High ball. Anyway, remarkably, I take it. And then there's only me and the captain. The captain knows that I am who I am. All the rest of the team just think I'm this fat bastard that's joining in the game of cricket. But they all start trying to jump on me and celebrate the catch, and I can't say anything. And then the producer, he just says, "Oh, what'll happen is you'll just chase it down. So when you go out to bat, get 40 or 50 not out and win the game." I was like, fucking what? I mean, the sun, there was no side screens. The sun just comes down. I couldn't see. I think I was dropped about fourth ball at mid-off. When I was caught behind, I didn't walk. I think I got 20 odd, but we still managed to win the game. Yeah, I've done it there, Ollie. I think it was called Gary someone.
Did you get out, Vaughany?
Yeah, I got out. I got caught behind. I stood. Couldn't believe the umpire gave me out.
Gary Watson was your
Gary
name.
Watson,
you got the video. They weren't expecting to get out because the music is going to a crescendo. Then it just crashes. as Goldsborough, you put Goldsborough 48 for 5 because they are chasing 88 runs. Just looking at here, they filled your stomach. There are 2 sight screens. They don't look like they've got much white to them. They're a bit see-through. And you're right. It was in return because it was 2011. Because in 2006, Goldsborough, who you were playing, were all out for 5, and all 5 runs were extras from Dishforth Cricket Club. They were all 10 bats got 0.
What was the? How did the big reveal come out, mate?
Yeah,
what was the process
in the dressing room. I walked on the pitch to say well done to the team for obviously the win. 2 guys out in the middle, and then I just ripped off my kind of mask and revealed myself. I'll tell you, a few years later, I mean, it must have been about 4 or 5 years ago, Freddie Flintoff put on a great game at Oldley Edge Cricket Club in Cheshire. You know, you got a few of the ex-players there, but a big marquee up. You know, big dinner before, made loads of money for the charities. Must have been 2,000 or 3,000, 4,000 people arrived to watch. The big fella Flintoff, he strolls out to bat. This kid runs up and bowls, knocks his off stump, flying out the ground.
What?
First ball.
So good.
Well, the umpires, right? The umpires, Freddie kind of went, oh, we all think, well, the umpires go, it's a no ball, you know, carry on, you know, Freddie, carry on batting. This umpire went, no, you're out.
That was like when was it the 100th year, the MCC celebration, and Warnie was batting.
Oh, yeah, I was playing that game.
Yeah, and it was in the first innings.
150th.
Yeah, 150th, yeah. And he hadn't bowled yet because were you playing on Warnie's team or were you on the other team?
Yeah, I said the only, well, no, not the only reason, but they had invited a whole bunch of players to play, and they had Sachin's team and Warnie's team. And I said, look, I'd really love to play on Warnie's team because I would seriously love the opportunity to wicket keep to him one more time. And because this was, what year was this? 2018, maybe? I don't know. It was well after we were retired. And I thought, what a thrill to keep the Warnie one more time. Yeah, so we batted first. And Binger obviously was playing for the other team. I think that's what you're referencing there, Prof. Yeah. And ran in, and Warnie went out to bat, and he's bowled the beamer at Warnie. Warnie got the hand up and has busted his arm. So he didn't get to bowl. So I missed the opportunity. I actually had to keep the Murray that day, and I could never pick Murray while I was batting, and I can promise you I've got less of a chance when I'm wicket keeping. That's what I worked out. But Finchy got about 180 as a youngster. Yeah.
Wow.
You can imagine the people
in the 90s. I was on the Yorkshire Academy, and Bradford Park Avenue. There was I don't know whether it was a 50th or 75th or 100th anniversary. So they got all the young lads in a team, and then they brought all the legends back. So Brian Close was captaining, Fred Truman, he was playing, Doug Paget, Geoffrey Boycott was there. Anyway, the coach in the dressing room before the game, and we were batting first. he said, look, just respect these guys. These are legends of the game. You do not take the mick. Show them a huge amount of respect. This is why we're here, for them. People have come to watch them, not us. There was a young kid from Sheffield, bit older than me, called Stephen Bethel. Fred Truman's opening the bowling. And bearing in mind, as he's walked out, the coach gone, Beth, do not take the piss. Respect these guys. Fred Truman ran up and bowled his first ball, just a little gentle outswinger. Steve Bethel launched him into the car park.
That is outstanding.
Second ball, exactly the same.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
Well, Prof, you asked about how
yeah.
the guests did. Jofra Archer, he played for Christchurch Foundation against Lords with the team there, his old school. He took 4 for 18, 3 with his right arm seam, and then 1 with his left arm spin that he does in the nets.
Oh,
So he can do both.
Not a bad left arm tweaky, I've seen him. He's
that
got
is
action.
really
Amazing. And he wasn't a part of some sort of dress up for a bank or anything. There was no
nothing.
Just felt like a trundle.
He did better than Gary.
See, that's going to set him back now. The workload protocols they'll put him back on ice.
He'll probably be out for another, not because of his decision, but Cricket Australia seem to rest a lot of the players, don't they, Gil? They seem to pull players.
Yep.
Not easy bowling 4 overs.
Well, it's only 2 overs, really, if you can do it half each.
one each.
Yeah, true. Very good, yeah.
Might get him through.
Very good. Now, as we trundle along here, guys, we do need to preview, obviously, the test starting tomorrow. You guys are there in Perth. Is the party still happening at Gilly's, Vaughany? Are you still heading over
I believe it's first day. Yeah.
It is. This time tomorrow night, really. Oh, well, yeah. About stumps by now, won't it? Yeah.
You know Ian Smith's on the commentary team, Gilly, don't you? You just trying to give you a bit of an indication of how much grog you're going to need to get in.
Smithy was here last year, mate. I'm very well aware of his capacity.
Yeah.
And don't worry, he's not Robinson Crusoe in this Fox Cricket broadcast team. It's a thirsty lot. So, no, I've reinforcements have arrived. The cellar's well stacked, and we'll get some fellowship happening.
I'm excited for the call on day 2 now. That's going to really tune into.
Yeah, that's a good tease.
Yeah.
Now, it has been labelled the West Test, Gilly, and I believe that there is have I got it right? There is the Adam Gilchrist. Does that actually exist? Did that happen?
Well, you're close to being right. There is a hill there. There's been a hill brought into the stadium. They've ripped out a whole row, panels of seats, and they've implemented a hill there. Fantastic, great initiative. Try and bring the old into the new, bit of the old heritage of the Wacker. But they didn't take my offer of changing my name for a week to Adam Gilchrist, which is pretty disappointing. I mean, there's Justin Langer stand out there. There's Lily Marsh stand. There's everything. Inverarity played a lot for W, but
have you got nothing, Gil?
All I've got, Vaughany, is nothing in the West. Back in my old hometown, just out of town, there's a cricket ground called Adam Gilchrist Park. Go to my Instagram, you'll see what my son thinks of that.
Yeah.
So, that's about it, really. Yeah.
Gilly, you'll be more upset when you find out what it is called. It's just been leaked on social. It's actually the Mike Hill Vaughan Hill. So there it is now. He's in town, and it is the Mike Hill Vaughan. So
I quit. If that's that, I'm not commentating.
Yeah, it's after my runouts in 2002 on my day at the tea room. They've decided it's legendary. Gilly, I mean, Dickie Bird's got a clock at Headingley. You'd have thought that you'd have something here.
He's got the clock, has he?
Yeah, Dickie's got the clock, yeah.
Well, it's funny. Well, that reminds me, because I'm looking at something now that you say that. We've got you and the crew, Vaughany, coming over tomorrow night. One of the earlier functions, if you like, or parties we had at our residence, if you like, Mel and I hosted Ricky Ponting's retirement bash. I mean, I was about 3 years into retirement, but they happened to be in Perth and they needed a venue. And I said, let's have it here, make it a bit more personable. So in my cellar, I sat for about 3 months his retirement gift from Cricket Australia, which was a bottle of Grange for every test match century that he scored.
Oh, there's plenty.
And I reckon he might have scored 41 or 42 Test match centuries. And because the team manager asked me just as soon as he announced his retirement the day before the game, he said, "Look, we've got to get a present. What do you reckon? We're thinking of this. Do you reckon he'll like that?" And I sort of went, "Yeah, I reckon he'll like 42 bottles of Grange." So it sat proudly in my cellar for about 3 months while Ricky was getting his house renovated in Melbourne and he had nowhere to store it. Yeah, you know what I got? A clock. So
Dicky Bird clock.
I got the Dicky Bird clock, and Punter got 42 bottles of Grange.
And did you tell me you took one at least in that 3 months?
I did have a bottle one night, and we took a photo of it empty and sent it to Punter and just said, and then there were 41. But I must admit, it was my own Grange that I did have in a small collection.
Amazing. Okay. What did you get when you left the English cricket team, Vaughany?
Knee surgery.
Nothing. Absolutely not. No, they might have given me. I think I might have a silver bat somewhere that's got my hundreds engraved in it, but I'd rather have the wine. If anyone from the ECB are listening and a few years later want to start handing out a few gifts, it's always got to be a bit of red, hasn't it?
You reckon, Punter, like they were all individually labelled too. So they had a little tie around it and the manager written up, like, so the first bottle was obviously his first 100, which I think was that Headingley? His first 100 in Test cricket? I think it was in 97 on the Ashes tour. But anyway, and then every single 100 he got had the respective bottle. And, obviously you go through a few vintages to make that right. But when Punter was saying, I said, "Are you drinking these things?" He goes, yeah. When someone comes over for dinner, depending on how special they are, depends on what actual innings I get out and drink with them. So, if it's someone he really loves, it's maybe the Ashes at Old Trafford 05. Didn't win the game, but he made sure that we didn't lose it. Very special compared to, 100 in Bangladesh down in on a flat road against an up and coming developing nation. So you knew where you stood by the bottle of wine that Punter got out.
Have you had one with him, Gilly?
No.
No. So
I haven't even hit the register yet to get on the list, let alone work out where I'm ranked. I think the last time I had a red wine with him might have been reflective of his third grade century as a 14-year-old down at Marlborough. So it wasn't that good a quality.
You guys are tight by the sounds of things. Very good. Now, let's have a quick look at this test.
Yeah. We've only been on for 50 minutes and we haven't spoken about it yet.
So we'll do the timestamps here, Ollie, so people can find it 45 minutes in. They've named the Pakistani 11. Obviously, the fast bowling ranks are something people are concerned about. Obviously, Ralph choosing to play BBL, a few injuries, and 2 debutantes.
Yeah.
Jamal and Shazad. Have I said that correctly?
Yep.
What do you think, boys? Are there any chance with this bowling attack?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Warnie.
That's a wrap. Look, I don't know enough about them. But two debutantes.
Yeah.
Clearly, you can look at their first class stats. You can try to backtrack and learn a bit, but until you're at got the blowtorch of Test match cricket, and it's very rarely is it any hotter than in Perth, literally, against an Australian team it's a generational team. Everything they've achieved, they are such an elite group, and particularly the Australian bowling lineup, and then you've got probably 2 or 3 Hall of Fame batters or players in there. Yeah, we don't know. There's a lot to not know. Their batting, their batting side of it, I've got hope that they'll be able to fire a shot. It's going, they've had a little bit of decent run recently, beat Sri Lanka, but clearly the conditions are so totally different. We're just not going to know until we see what the track does. And the curator, who wasn't responsible for the Green Monster, it's a different bloke now, but he's certainly going to juice it up more than what we saw last year, which was a bit of a commanding win for Australia, but it was a bit of a slow slog on a bit of a road.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the ultimate challenge for any team. But Pakistan, I mean, I reckon the two hardest places to go are here in India. Now, Pakistan don't get the chance to play in India, so we don't know how they would come up against an Indian side in Indian conditions. They're probably better suited for those conditions than they are here. The Prime Minister's game was played in Canberra on a slow, low shitty. They're now going to come to Perth and play on a bouncy track. Babar Azam's the key. I mean, Babar plays well. They might compete, but I just can't see how that bowling attack's going to put any fear or threat into the Australian backline. I mean, I think Marnus averages, 180 here? Steve Smith averages 120 here. So you'd have to say at least one of them, if not both of them, will get hundreds this week. And David Warner, on the back of controversy, on the back of headlines, I would be staggered if he doesn't get a score as well. So I don't give Pakistan much hope this week.
No, I'm backing Warner in for runs as well. Saad Shakil, he's come in. He's averaging, I think, in 7 tests, he's averaging 87. His lowest score is like 25 or something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's going to be in for a bit of an environmental shock once the ball's going past the whiskers from Pat and co. But yeah, that Manica Oval deck, Vaughany, your man Mohammad Hafeez, very accusative, wasn't he? That it was a complete setup.
Yeah, well, he's now the director of cricket and the coach, so he's in his right to be able to say whatever he wishes about the pitch. He obviously feels that it's not quite the preparation that you require to play in Perth. But by the way, what about the outfield there? I did the Big Bash game there. It's like Farmers Field.
That was slow.
Onto that.
In a serious note, for a moment, if you'll indulge me, I got no drama with him complaining about that track. I don't think it was intentional. I think there was wet weather around. It was hard to prepare. But when non-subcontinental teams, non-Asian teams head over there, we are the first to start accusing of not getting the right conditions and saying the dodgy tracks, or they're giving us green tops in the nets, and then we're going out on a dung heap that's spitting. So we've got to sit back and acknowledge that, don't we? That we are very quick finger pointers, so we've got to allow the finger to be pointed back.
Yeah, too right. I mean, I look at that game and think, I'm looking at the Wacker. Wouldn't it have been better for? I mean, the Wacker pitch now is still the old bounce pitch, isn't it? It'd been better to play here. Give a team better. I think a lot of boards around the world are doing this, where they're almost kind of nullifying the opposition by saying you're not getting any practice. And on the back of no tour games, which they generally play one game, they don't play the 3 and 4 and 5 like the old days. I just think that when we talk about the spirit of the game, this is what makes me laugh about me when they say, the spirit of the game. There lies the problem with the spirit of the game, is that many things are happening behind the scenes in terms of preparation, not giving the opposing team net bowlers the right conditions in the nets, absolute poor kind of practice games before the first test. If we could get that right and just say, right, let's just sign a contract where whenever the teams go over, you just give them good practice, good practice. So the game of Test match cricket is going to be better for it. That'd be something that'd help the spirit of the game.
Yeah, and we are, and I would assume Cricket Australia are, and Australian cricket fans are really desperately hopeful that the opposition teams in the Test matches, Pakistan and the West Indies, do put up a fight, do give us a run, because we need competitive Test cricket. All right, it's a really good point, Vaughany. Really good point.
One thing on that bowling lineup, which we don't know loads about, Ashraf's played a few, Jamal and Shazad. This might be the first time ever that all 3 of them are just named as medium pacers on Cricinfo, not even medium fast or anything. So
I worry about that, Ollie.
Yeah, I worry about that too.
I worry about medium pacers with the Kookaburra ball in Australia in 40 degrees. I have to be honest, I think they're going to travel.
So that's the Test match that starts tomorrow. Do you want to give us a quick result? I know you did it last week. Have you changed your mind in any way? Nope. Okay. 3 days? Or I think you both said morning of the 4th.
Yeah, morning of the 4th, Australia to win.
Yeah.
Gilly?
Yeah, well, the only variable there is who wins the toss. If Australia win the toss and bat first and bat big, it's more likely an early finish if Australia bowl first. But no, we'll see.
We'll see. Very good. Now, let's get into this quiz, Ollie.
Yeah.
Today, I believe it is all about Perth and Pakistan.
It absolutely is. It is about Perth and Pakistan. Got 5 questions as usual. And in my huge amount of research, it takes about a week to do often, it's a big one, Perth and Pakistan, because let me take you back to 2002. Late 2002, a certain Adam Gilchrist flew to number 1 in the Test batting rankings after playing Pakistan. The first time and only time he went there, according to the ICC website. Pulling a face at me, but it was match 32, 2002, October 7th, 66, not out in the first innings and 5 in the second innings. Had you to number 1 in the ICC Test rankings.
Against Pakistan.
Against Pakistan was the innings that did it for you, according to the Reliance ICC rankings, not in Perth.
Oh, no, that was over in Sharjah or something.
Sorry. Your element, your element is Pakistan. The Perth element is Vaughany.
You know, hey, just before we move on there, I reckon I played an innings and I actually, the series finished and I was ranked number 2 in the world. I came home from that series and went down south, down to Eagle Bay, Vaughany, where you've frequented before. I was actually... I was elevated to number 1 from sitting on the beach for 3 days without doing anything. So whoever was number 1 obviously had a pig of a game, and I was suddenly I didn't even have to put me boards on to get up to number 1. But yeah, good times.
There you go. Yeah, South Africa was 1 before, and then you jumped up from 3 to 1, and you were hanging around the top 3 for a while until just a couple of months later. A certain M. Vaughan comes for the Ashes series of all time and gets to his highest test, which was number 2, and he leapfrogged you into second place in that many runs he scored in that series over there. That was his highest.
Who was number 1 at that stage, Ollie?
I tried to Google that and it didn't come up, so I didn't want to say it.
You've got that wrong. I actually was in Monaco. After that, I went to number 1 in the world, similar to Gilly.
What?
By someone, I think it was Hayden.
Yeah.
Failing in a series. And I was number 1. I think I was number 1 for about 4 days.
Wow. This is one for the ICC website.
That's Djokovic like that.
I lasted a long time at number 1.
We need to start introducing you two guys as the 2 number 1 ranked batsmen in the world. I apologise. Yeah. I apologise.
Yeah, but I seem to remember, Vaughany, you getting a number 1. I couldn't believe it, but I do remember it.
I did. I did, because my dad rang me when I was in Monaco. He went, "Fuck me, have you seen what's happened?
Your job's done. Time to retire."
I'm just looking here. Wow, ICC website hasn't updated it, but you are absolutely you are right. You achieved it for a few days.
Oh, clearly Broady was registering the votes. It didn't count.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, let's go, Ollie. Let's do the trivia.
Let's get into the quizzes. So they'll do a bit of both, a bit of Pakistan, a bit of Perth. Okay, so what is higher, Vaughany's Test average in Australia or Gilly's against Pakistan?
Oh. Right.
Well, he smoked him against
I reckon I had 2, 3.
I'm going Gilly. I'm going Gilly.
Yeah, you had a monster 02, 03. You didn't come out again. Did you only have that one series out here?
Yeah. Yeah, didn't you?
Jesus, you got about 1,000. Ongoing Vaughany.
Michael Vaughan, 63.3.
Oh.
Adam Gilchrist, 68.4.
I used to watch you against Pakistan, Gilly. You just climbed into them.
Against Pakistan the whole series, my whole career.
Yeah.
68.44. 1-0 to Vaughany. Question number 2. What is higher, the number of test runs from Vaughany in Perth or the number of balls it took Gilly to get 100 in 2006 against England.
I reckon I faced a few, but didn't get any runs. I think I dug in there on the first morning. I'm going me.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon I faced quite a few balls. I think on the first morning, it was doing all sorts.
So this is how many runs you got.
Oh,
Yeah.
runs is it? Not
Yeah,
balls.
what is higher?
Oh, runs.
I'm going me.
Gilly.
Yeah.
What was I? 57.
You were 57, correct.
Yeah.
And Vaughany, 43.
Yeah, Gilly.
Yeah. Dug in for a first innings 34 and struggled to 9. But when you decided to run yourself out.
How many balls at 34?
A few. I'm looking for the run out here. You had 53 balls for your 9 runs when you ran yourself out.
Jeez,
And you had 7. Yeah, so your strike rate was 43 in the first innings, 34 off 79.
Yeah, there it is again, that strike rate.
Your strike rate was under 17 in the second innings.
You got to dig in against the doctor.
Yeah, against Gillespie and Lee. So
42, Gilly 1.
Beautiful. Okay, who got a higher test score against Pakistan? Gilly or Vaughany?
Oh.
Gilly.
Ooh. Well, with the confidence with which you said that, I'll say me.
Gilly, 149 not out. Vaughany, 120. Yeah.
There you go. 3-2.
Okay, what is higher? Gilly's number of test innings versus Pakistan or Vaughany's bowling economy rate against them?
Ooh, good question. Good
How
question.
many tests I played? 3, 6.
What was that? So Gilly's test innings.
Innings, just how many innings did he have against them?
My economy. Bash me everywhere.
It might be.
I'm going me.
Yeah, Vaughany.
Gilly had 12 innings. Vaughany had a very respectable 3 overs for 33, 11.
3 overs for 33.
Very good.
Jesus.
Scores don't change.
Where was that? Which test?
Oh, no, actually, it's 2000. Yeah, it doesn't actually say here. It just gives us economy.
Do you remember bowling them, Vaughany?
I reckon it would have been. I reckon it was the test I got 100 at Old Trafford. I think Inzerman just kept him dancing down and whacking me for 6.
Yeah, mate, you would have worked him out if you're over on the subcontinent, no doubt.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, fantastic. All right, so no score change there.
Yeah.
Final question. What is higher, Vaughany's batting average beat Pakistan or Gilly's test match catches against them? So Vaughany's test batting against Pakistan or how many catches Gilly took against them?
I'm going to go Gilly's catching.
No, I'll go Vaughany.
Gilly took 34.
Oh, I
Vaughany's
32 in my mind.
Vaughany's average was 35.4.
So we're all square.
Yeah.
We're all square.
Fight back.
Which means
Tiebreaker.
we have a tiebreaker, which I was going to use as the ranking. So I'm going to have to make this up on the spot, which is always dangerous, but that's absolutely fine. I'm going back to the batting tab. Nearest one wins. What was Vaughany's strike rate against Pakistan in test matches?
42.
What was your career one that we rolled out the other day?
I'm going 42.
You're going 42.
You're saying 42.
Career was 51 the other day.
I'm going to be generous. I'm going to go 46.
It was higher than his average. He loved them. 52. One more.
52, did I?
52.2. Don't forget the 0.2, crucially. So congratulations to get a comeback win there in the quiz. It's very
Absolutely. Just didn't give up, did I?
Yes, congratulations, Gilly. Another win. Well done. Go Australia. All right, hey, all that's left to do is the toast, Gilly. Would you like to lead us?
Yeah, well, I think just rather than just leave it to me, why don't we all go around one? It doesn't matter if it doubles up, but Ollie, you can crank up who you're toasting to first.
Well, you may have noticed I've got a red, which is very rare for me, and it's the toast One of the biggest fans of the show, Walter Kosh, absolutely obsessed with it. Massive cricket fan. Loves the Shiraz, and it's his Bucks party this weekend where I'm going in Tassie for Barnbougle.
Oh.
So he was very excited by it. Listens every week, sends me his favourite moments. This is to Walter, and looking forward to a weekend of golfing. Just doing a recce for the England team and the Ashes.
Good. Sort of like Collie. That's what Collie's doing on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Vaughany?
Yeah, mine's to Mohammad Hafeez and the Pakistan side. I wish him all the best.
Prof, you got anyone?
To David Warner. Hopefully he gets 300 runs in the first innings.
Yeah, I reckon he's going to back the truck. I'm going to Jofra. I thought Jofra. That is a proper bullish move. All right. Cheers.
Jofra's left armers. Cheers.
Very good. Cheers, boys. All right, that was Club Prairie Fire. You can find us at Club Prairie Fire on all socials. We will be back next week, I believe, all together again, Ollie, in Sydney.
That's what the plan is.
All right, I will wear deodorant. I promise. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Adios.
Ciao.